This is the 6-part video, titled, "He Finds a Notebook of Experience and Can Experience Anything He Writes." Please do watch all the previous parts to enjoy this video. Jong-suk has came to China. He is in the mountains of Mount Wudang. Looking at the vast range of mountains, he figures they haven't changed much for last 500 years. He goes for a walk in the mountains. That's when he hears a scream for help. Jong-suk runs towards the voice. It was a boy. He was heavily injured and blood was pouring from his stomach. He said he was attacked by a wild boar. Jong-suk didn't have his medicinal needles with him. He cleans the boy's wounds and saw 2 big holes. He was not sure how to help him. Some people came running after they heard the boy's scream. They were his parents. They asked Jong-suk's identity. Jong-suk introduces himself as a doctor and asks them to bring the necessary herbs from in the mountains. One man departs. As there was no other way to save the boy, Jong-suk calls upon his abilities. He uses his secret wind technique and takes few strands of hairs from the old woman. He creates them into needles. Watching his abilities and inhuman skills, the old woman thinks he is a god. The man was scared too. Jong-suk uses the needles to treat the boy. The boy was experiencing pain and facing trouble to breathe. Jong-suk makes him vomit the blood. The man returns with herbs. Jong-suk quickly crushes them into paste and applies it on the wounds. The boy was awake. Jong-suk uses the cloth to bandage him. The boy was saved. The woman thanks Jong-suk by calling him Shinseon, which translates to God. The other men were thanking him too. As they were leaving, Jong-suk asks them if there is any place where he can stay for a night. The man smiles and says he is the village chief and he will gladly receive him to his house. He takes the boy and tells Jong-suk to follow him. They went to the village Yujin Haska. The chief takes him to his house. There was a library with a lot of old books. It has all the books which were nearly 500 years old. Jong-suk sees a large book. The chief said it was a record book of village chiefs passed down from generation to generation. The chief allows him to read the book and tells him to take his time. As Jong-suk was reading, he came across a text from a certain village chief. He wrote, "The village was attacked by Japanese shamans. The chief evacuated the village. Still, the Japanese burned it. The village chief disappeared with it." Jong-suk was thinking something was missing. He asked the notebook of experience if it has any experience to fight against the shamans. The book has it. Jong-suk thinks that maybe the chief of this village, Yujin, was also the owner of this notebook of experience. Jong-suk asked the book to show Yujin's record. Yujin was fighting against the large number of Japanese pirates, one of them specially skilled. He was the leader of the pirates. Yujin attacked his armor continuously until it caused his enemy to burst. The enemy had a book under his armor. It was the notebook of experience. Yujin learned the ability of the notebook and became its new owner. But he didn't want to get any experience. He thought the experience he could gain without any effort was not his own. Jong-suk was not surprised to see it. He asked the notebook of experience for more information about itself. But the book denied. It didn't tell any names of former owners. Jong-suk was delighted to found a new breakthrough in his quest. He just discovered that Yujin got this book from the Japanese pirates. Jong-suk thinks maybe missionary Paolo had the book before Yujin. He also thinks that the possibility of existence of another notebook of experience is not zero. Now he can find his answers in Japan. He left China and returns back to Korea. Jong-suk was not sure where he should start to look for more information about the book. At the same time, the flight attendants were looking for a doctor. They had a patient who needed immediate medical attention. Jong-suk raises his hand. They quickly took him to the patient. The man had eaten a lot of food and fell unconscious. One doctor was already trying to treat him. He was trying to open his breathing pipe. But Jong-suk takes a look at the patient. He realizes it was a bad idea. When Jong-suk tried to stop him, he became angry at him. But Jong-suk was confident in himself. He sighted them all and used his thumb to press on the patient's back. The man vomits all the food. Jong-suk pressures hard enough to empty all his stomach. The man was able to talk. He didn't realize what had happened. The doctor was still angry at Jong-suk and threatened him for performing medical treatment without any license. But Jong-suk replied saying he just pressed his thumb on his uncle's back. It was not a crime. The flight attendants were impressed. They recognized Jong-suk from 119 Food Rescue. At the airport, the man thanks Jong-suk for saving his life. The man was not ordinary himself. He was the CEO of Dison Investment Company from China, Chairman Jin. He gives him a business card and asks him to give him a call whenever he is free. He wants to thank him properly. Jong-suk gladly takes it. The man orders his secretary to drive Jong-suk to his destination. On their ride, the driver talks about the CEO, Mr. Jin. The life saved by Jong-suk was a famous individual in China. He was also the part of top 50 richest people in the world. But Chairman Jin didn't like any lavish lifestyle and believes in world order. That is the reason his bodyguards didn't interfere in their treatment. The bodyguards only protect him from unnatural activities like kidnapping or assassination attempts. There is also one particular thing about Mr. Jin. In China, there is a culture called guaxi. Chairman does not do any business with anyone who is not affiliated to guaxi. Jong-suk asked the driver about his identity and why he is telling him all this information. The man said he is Jae Kung Choi. He works at planning office of Samwoo Group of Korea. Jong-suk was surprised to hear the big name of Samwoo Group. It was the largest global group from Korea. Jong-suk returns home. He writes his experience of saving a life, but gains only 100 points. He was not satisfied with it. The next day, Jong-suk takes Mr. Jin to his favorite restaurant. Master Kim welcomes them. Mr. Jin was excited to eat Korean traditional food after a very long time. He enjoyed the meal, but somehow he looked troubled. Jong-suk asked for the reason. Mr. Jin replies he had invested so much money in a cell phone manufacturing company in America. But the American government wants to take over the foreign factories under their custody. The company is going to face huge losses. But more than that, if he pulls out his own money, the company will go to ruin. Jong-suk asked if he wants to buy the factory himself. Mr. Jin says he is only an investor and didn't know anything about manufacturing business. Jong-suk interrupts him. He continues to tell him a small story. Long ago, there lived 3 people, Iga, Oga, and Joe. Iga found a lump of jade, but he didn't have any polishing skills. Oga didn't have any jade, but he was skilled in polishing jades. Iga and Oga didn't get along well, so they couldn't trim the jade. So, Oga gave money to Joe and asked him to buy the jade from Iga. He then polished the jade and gained profit. He did it multiple times while making most of the money. But Mr. Jin was not sure who will become his Oga and become his jade trimmer. Jong-suk quickly replies, Samwoo Group. Samwoo can make his manufacturing. After thinking for a moment, Mr. Jin was delighted and calls Jong-suk his younger brother. He asks Jong-suk to call him his senior brother and become his partner. Whenever in life, if he needs anything, he can call him anytime 24/7. He will answer his younger brother anytime. Jong-suk had made a new friend. Just like that, days passed. Jong-suk continued his doctor's program and became a full-time student. It was a period of professional training, and he had came to Grandpa's clinic to practice his medical skills. At the clinic, one girl is admitted for her ankle injury. She was arguing with the doctors. She was a taekwondo national player. She had won medals in each tournament, but due to her injury, she was likely going to miss her next world tournament. The championship was just ahead a month. She would need at least 4 weeks for her recovery. She was angry. In the evening, Jong-suk and Grandma were having a small snack on the terrace. The girl came for a stroll. Grandma gives her some snacks and wishes her good health and asks her to take care. The girl thanks for the food and leaves with tears. Grandma thinks she is a good girl. After a while, a man comes to visit the young girl. He says he will go to the championship instead of her and leave some money on the table. Jong-suk sees her as the girl started crying. On the terrace, the man was glancing at the sky. Jong-suk meets him and quickly gets to the points. He asks if the girl, Jong Han-hee, recovers before 4 weeks, will she be able to participate in the tournament? The man says if she really recovers from rehabilitation and gains good grades at practice, she can join again. Jong-suk goes to medical center and grabs all the necessary herbs and medicines which he would need to treat the girl. His girlfriend Sumi was making her way to the hospital. She calls Jong-suk, but Jong-suk wasn't answering the phone. Jong-suk was busy treating the girl on the terrace. He was giving her physiotherapy. Sumi goes to the hospital and asks the receptionist. She goes to the terrace. She sees Jong-suk was with a girl alone on the terrace. She was suspicious of Jong-suk. She thinks he was having an affair. He calls him again. If Jong-suk lies about his whereabouts, it will confirm her suspicion. But Jong-suk was real Chad. He picks up her call, as Sumi asks where he is and what he's doing. Jong-suk replies honestly, saying he is treating a girl on the terrace of the clinic due to some circumstances. Sumi misunderstood his intentions. She says she is near his hospital. Jong-suk was surprised and quickly goes down to meet her. The girl asks if she was her girlfriend. Jong-suk says yes and stops the treatment. He says they will continue after her rest. Sumi goes down to her car and hurriedly puts on her makeup. She then again goes to meet Jong-suk. Sumi had finally got a big role in an action movie. Thus, she was going to be popular. Jong-suk was happy for her. He wishes her best luck and asks to take care of herself. Sumi just swears her allegiance. At home, Jong-suk was not sure if he really wanted to continue his previous experience with the Oriental medicine. He had left it midway, but he had no other option but to learn it. To treat that young girl, he needed more skills. The madman continued to experiment on the people. There was no end to the plague. His pupils were also afraid of it. They didn't want to risk their lives. The doctor assured them that he will save them with his research. However, it was just the beginning. After 2 days, the pupils were also infected by the deadly virus. But he didn't help them. He just noted all the symptoms and told them it was not time yet. After 10 days, they were in severe agony. The mad doctor watched them and studied them until their last breath. Still, he was unable to find the cure. Jong-suk thinks the madman truly deserves to be called madman. Suddenly the book glowed and all the energy covered Jong-suk's whole body. The magical words appears inside the book. You have gained 10,000 experience points. You can now change the scribe of the current Chinese medicine. Would you like to change it? Jong-suk didn't realize what it meant. It was just an option. But the book explains further. It says the process will consume 100% of his experience points, but in return, the former scribe, that is the madman, will possess his body while performing medical skills. Jong-suk was thrilled by this sudden statement. He accepts it. He asks how can he use its skills. The book replies he just need to tear off a page from the notebook of experience and write down what experience he needs to use. Few days later, Jong-suk goes to the shooting set of Sumi. She was one of the lead actor. At the set, Sumi was having her makeup. She was looking beautiful as ever. The main actor Hung Young was friends with Jong-suk. He introduces him to the director. The director recognized Jong-suk from 119 Food Rescue. Jong-suk gave him his homemade rice balls. The director gladly accepts it. On the side, another leading actress, Lee Ji-sun, was waiting for the shoot to resume. Jong-suk asks her if she would like some rice balls, but the girl was not interested in it. On the contrary, she was furious at the director for wasting her time. As the shooting begins, 2 masked men attacked the 2 girls. The fight was furious. Sumi looked elegant as ever. Suddenly, they hear a scream. It was one of the masked men. He was injured. The other guy was angry at Lee Ji-sun, but she blamed the man. She thinks it was small mistake and not much for amount of noise they were making. Jong-suk goes to the man. His wrist bone was completely out of his hand. It was dislocated. Jong-suk asks for bandages and splitters. He quickly applied the first aid and sends him to the hospital. Lee Ji-sun offers to pay for the hospital bills. The man was still furious at the actress and asks her to apologize first. But she refers it as a small mistake at work and it happens all the time. She was not going to apologize. The man was suddenly stepping to grab on Lee Ji-sun, but the director stops them. Lee Ji-sun abandons the shoot and goes to her car. The director and the main actor tries to convince her, but she was not the one to budge. Hung said she will lose her popularity if she keeps doing this. But she says she is an actor and not any martial artist to follow everything. She was stubborn and refused to join again. Hung and Jong-suk were having their conversation. They both agree that Lee Ji-sun was a bitch. Apologizing for even a small mistake is common sense. The martial artist came to their discussion. He says if they stop their shooting for 2 or more days, they will face huge financial loss. They can't find any new martial artists to perform the act too. Jong-suk hears it and says he can help with acting a masked man. He has already memorized his actions. Hung also gave his approval for Jong-suk's skills. The martial artist director was not sure, so he asks to fight him to prove his skills. Just like that, Jong-suk steps in and shows his skills. He didn't even let him get touched by the director. The martial artist was impressed and takes him in. In the car, the director was consoling Lee Ji-sun. He says she has to cooperate with him, otherwise the main character will not favor her. He adds Lee Jong-suk will take the role of masked man so that she doesn't have to worry much. He was pretty good with martial arts. She was surprised to hear Lee Jong-suk was also a martial artist. The director also adds if she doesn't cooperate, Jin Sumi will get better scenes than her. Lee Ji-sun didn't like it. She agrees to shoot. Director was sure a wise man. He knew jealousy is stronger than friendship. Jong-suk calls Sumi as Nanjao. It was her name in the movie. He was going to be her masked man. The director made some changes because Jong-suk only memorized the actions of her partner. But Jong-suk wanted to revise it. He asked to change it a bit and make her more on focus than the masked man. He showed her through drawings how the action sequence will take place. The martial artist director was impressed. He approves to it. But Sumi was not confident in herself. Jong-suk says he will guide her to do it. As the action starts, Jong-suk winks for the go. He attacked and Sumi dodged it. She then turned around and swings her sword around his belly and then on his back. Jong-suk turns and the next moment, he falls down. Sumi didn't even realize her spin. It looked elegant and marvelous. The director calls the cut. He loved the scene. It was perfect on the first shot. Lee Ji-sun asks Jong-suk why is he helping Sumi and does he have any relationship with her. Jong-suk knew having a relationship for an actress would decline their fan following. so he refused to call her his girlfriend and says she is just a friend from school. Lee Ji-sun didn't buy it and was suspicious of Jong-suk. The director invites Jong-suk for after-party drinks. He accepts it. When he asked to Lee Ji-sun, she refused. At the party, they were having talks and drinks. The director was glad that Sumi joined them. But Jong-suk sees Lee Ji-sun was spying on them from the window. He didn't know why she is doing it. The director was talking about Lee Ji-sun. He knew they can't replace her as there are not many actors good at martial arts just like Ji-sun. They have to continue their shoot in whatever way possible. The director was pretty impressed by Jong-suk, so he wants him to help them in their shoot. Jong-suk was not sure whether to accept their invitation. He looks at Sumi and Hang-yuk. Then he says he is always busy with 119 Rescue and his college. He can help them in free days. The director was happy with that. They all welcome him to their team. Jong-suk smiles at Sumi. Lee Ji-sun saw it. She thinks she now had a card against Jin Sumi. The next day, Sumi and Jong-suk were having their private practice. Jong-suk was having a lovely time. Lee Ji-sun was watching this. Her manager was asking her about the ad shoot. She had already abandoned her shoot from the morning and came early for this shooting. She was furious about it and asks his manager to get her something to eat. She came to the field where Sumi and Jong-suk were practicing. She tried to tease Sumi in front of Jong-suk. She grabbed the wooden sword from Sumi and asked Jong-suk for an action. Jong-suk knew what she was trying to do. He calls her a bitch, but it was silent. Sumi calls her a bitch, and it was silent too. She wanted to practice with Jong-suk, but Jong-suk said he didn't have any action sequence with her. Lee Ji-sun says Sumi's scene originally belonged to her. She just gave it to her, so she can get it back anytime. But Jong-suk doesn't want Sumi to get replaced again. They made a deal, and now Jong-suk will fight with Lee Ji-sun. Jong-suk asked if she can handle his skills. Lee Ji-sun says she can keep up with anyone. Jong-suk attacks her with a quick dash. Still, she managed to dodge it. She was able to keep up with all the moves. Jong-suk realized she was watching their secret practice. After few minutes, they get sweaty and stop for drinks. Considering it was the right time, Jong-suk asked why he should help her in their action scene when he is not part of it. But Lee Ji-sun had a proper card against him. She knew that Jin Sumi and Jong-suk were not just friends. Jong-suk asks if she is planning to threaten them, but Lee Ji-sun denies it. She says she just needs proper martial artist partner for her best performance. Jong-suk agrees to help her. At the action scene, Lee Ji-sun was sweating heavily and giving her best for the performance. She even performed a perfect backflip. Everyone was impressed. Jong-suk gave his compliments too. However, Sumi was not happy with it. Ji-sun's manager was not happy with it too, as she refused to stop. As they start rolling again, Jong-suk was giving his best for her performance. He lifts his leg up and launches it. He kicks hard on her stomach. Ji-sun fell over a distance, but she stood up. Looking at her, Jong-suk realized she was not just acting, she was relieving her stress. Jong-suk stops. He sees she was still hurt from the last blow. People were gathered at the camera to see the combined shot. Hang-yuk joins them. He sees the action scene between Jong-suk and Lee Ji-sun. It looked like an actual fight. Hang-yuk thought they will face terrible injuries and wants to stop them, but the director didn't let him. He said it was her choice. He says no one should stop the action star from doing action scenes. He asks for Jin Sumi's script and makes some changes. The action scene between Jong-suk and Lee Ji-sun was perfect. Ji-sun enjoyed her performance the most. The martial artist director speaks to Jong-suk. He praised their performance. He tells Jong-suk about Ji-sun's past. When she was just a rookie, she was very passionate about action scenes. She performed it perfectly, and whenever she got injured, she never complained. But as she got famous and became a star, the agency didn't want her to get hurt, so they never allow her to do any risky action scenes. Ji-sun hated to perform just simple scenes and do fake action. It was very tiring for her. That is the reason she wanted a real fight with Jong-suk. Lee Ji-sun was like an eagle. For an eagle, it's frustrating to be caged when it can fly higher than the clouds. Hang-yuk joins their conversation. He tells Jong-suk that the director had to decrease Jin Sumi's action scenes. Jong-suk knew it was because of him. They took a ride back home. Jong-suk was pretty upset about it. Still, Hang-yuk says it will be alright because he helped Ji-sun gave her best performance. After 6 months, it was finally time for their premiere. The director sees him. He says the premiere was going to start soon and they should go in. All the leading actors were already inside. Jong-suk was nervous. It was Sumi's first appearance. He didn't know what will happen. So does all of us. You don't want to miss the amazing movie and next part of this video. The link will be updated soon in the description. Join the fun. If you are someone who loves reading manhwa and animes, subscribe now and join us in our journey. Also, get notified for new manhwa updates and hidden gems. Thank you for watching this video and see you again.